we're extra nerdy, let's plot that out on an axis. We'll often get requests from architects and designers saying, I want to create a space that feels old and rustic. And of course, floors create such a big sense of that. But from a manufacturing perspective, there are actually two components to creating a rustic floor. One, the board selection itself. So what canvas are we choosing to work with? Two, the process applied to that blank canvas to create a dynamic finish, three-dimensional finishes, texture, and nice rustic feelings. And because we're extra nerdy, let's plot that out on an axis. You've got a y-axis here, an x-axis here. We'll put the board on the x-axis, the board itself, and then the processes applied to that board on the y-axis. From spectrum of not rustic to rustic, we have prime grade boards and rustic grade boards. So as you move along here, you're going to get extra fill, extra cracks. On the prime grade boards, almost a perfect looking board. No pin knots, maybe just tiny pin knots, no fills, no cracks. But as we move along in terms of grading, rustic boards will give us that depth in terms of color contrast with the fill. You've got the light background of the oak and the contrast of the fill in cracks and knots. We'll move on to the y-axis. Processes we apply to this canvas to add extra bits, from brushing, tumbling to bandsawing. Remember, all of these processes can actually be layered. Bandsawing, can't spell. Anyways, you get the point. All of these processes can actually be layered on top of each other. So let's break it down into quadrants. When we talk about an ultra rustic floor, we're playing in this space. You've got a board that has a lot of knots and a lot of fill, and you've got these processes layered on top to create three-dimensional effect. When we look at this quadrant itself, we're looking at a prime board with almost no presses on top, basically a flat, vanilla-looking board, very perfect for that Japandi kind of look, but not what we're talking about in this video. If you're looking for rustic, you can also play in here where you've got just a rustic board with no processes added on top. That is still going to give you a rustic look, but it will be flat. Up here, you've got a prime grade board with a lot of processes added on top, which can sometimes look contradictory because you've got a plain looking board with a lot of wear and tear on it. So it sometimes looks a bit out of place. So really, we are just playing in these two quadrants when we are talking about a rustic board and a rustic floor.